August in Houston feels like a heavy, wet blanket pressed tight against the skin. The kind of heat that steals breath, slows time, and presses down on every corner of the city. On the night of August 24, 2020, while most of Houston slept under the thick, humid air, a single phone call cut through the darkness. 911, what's your emergency? The voice on the line was steady but tinged with something uneasy. Hesitation, panic tangled with confusion. Luis Luna, just 23 years old, was calling. He told the dispatcher his 8-month-old daughter, Savaya Mason, wasn't breathing. Savaya, a baby just learning how to sit up, whose tiny fingers reached for faces with quiet trust. A girl who was starting to smile and babble. A life still unfolding one small step at a time. When first responders arrived at the apartment on West Park Drive, they found Luis outside, barefoot, disheveled, waving them in with shaky hands. He said he'd tried CPR. He said he woke up to find Savaya cold, lifeless. Inside the apartment, something else met the paramedics. Not silence exactly, but a hollow void where a baby's world should have been. No toys scattered, no lullabies humming, no scent of baby powder or formula in the air. Just an old mattress on the floor, a baby car seat sitting empty and silent. No crib, no baby monitor, no sign that this place had been readied for a child. Savaya was rushed to the hospital, but doctors had little hope. She was dead on arrival. For a moment, everyone hoped this was a terrible accident. Maybe the car seat straps had been too tight. Maybe Luis hadn't known better. Maybe fate had dealt a cruel blow. But as hours passed, the hope began to fade, replaced by something darker. The police saw too many tragedies like this. Too many lifeless children with stories that didn't add up. Luis Luna stuck to his story. It was the straps, he said. Maybe she choked. He said she had slept all night. He denied hurting her. But the calm in his voice wasn't comfort. It was distance. An eerie, unnatural stillness that unsettled even the most seasoned investigators. The next morning shattered the fragile illusion. The medical examiner's report told a brutal truth. Savaya hadn't died by accident. Her lungs showed signs of deliberate suffocation. Her body bore blunt force trauma, internal injuries, marks of restraint, and then the part that silenced the room, evidence of sexual assault. A defenseless baby girl, abused and silenced by the one person who should have protected her. The morning sun pressed through the windows of that cramped apartment on West Park Drive, but inside, the air felt cold, colder than the summer heat outside. Investigators returned with a search warrant, stepping carefully over the cluttered floor. They didn't have to look far before finding what they dreaded most. In a trash bag shoved into the corner of the sunroom lay handfuls of blood-stained baby wipes. Not hidden, not cleaned away, discarded like garbage. The diaper bag was empty. No diapers, no formula, no sign anyone planned to care for a child. Scratch marks faintly lined the walls. Streaks of blood smeared across surfaces told a story of struggle. A tiny fight for survival that no one heard. Luis Luna was brought in quietly. No resistance, no questions, no tears, just a hollow silence that seemed to swallow the room. They sat him down in a cold interrogation room. The detective across from him opened a folder with deliberate slowness, autopsy photos, medical reports, pictures of the bloodied wipes. Still, Luis clung to his story, the car seat straps, the choking, the accident. The detective leaned forward. Luis, you know the straps didn't kill her. We both know that. Silence. We found the wipes soaked in blood. We found the bruises, the trauma, the assault. His eyes dropped, his fingers clenched. No more words. He was charged with capital murder, a charge in Texas that could mean life without parole or death. But the questions didn't end with Luis. They swirled around another name, Janice Mason, Savaya's mother. Where was she? What did she know? Why did she leave her child in Luis' care? Janice was a young mother trying to rebuild her life. She and Luis had a brief relationship, fragile and fleeting. She had custody of Savaya. 3 days before Savaya's death, Janice agreed to let Luis have a visit. Just a few days, she thought, the father should be part of the child's life. But the days passed. No calls, no visits, no check-ins. Why? Why would a mother leave her child with a man, unemployed, living in a cramped apartment with 3 other adult men? No crib, no diapers, no food. Trust? Desperation? Or something darker? Public anger erupted. Some defended Janice, saying she couldn't have predicted this horror. Others accused her of neglect, of abandoning her baby to a man unfit to care for her. The apartment spoke for itself, no sign it was prepared for a child. No warmth, just chaos and neglect. By October 2024, the city of Houston knew the name Luis Luna, the man accused of a brutal, unimaginable crime. In the courtroom, the atmosphere was different. No longer headlines or whispers, but a cold, clinical stage where truth would be weighed by 12 jurors. Luis appeared in a beige prison jumpsuit, shackled, his face unreadable. No tears, no anger, just a hollow expression, like a ghost trapped in his own skin. The prosecution wasted no time. This isn't neglect. This isn't an accident. This is brutality, they said, their words sharp and unyielding. They presented the autopsy report: asphyxiation by smothering. Bruises marked her tiny ribs, internal hemorrhaging, lacerations, signs of restraint, and the hardest truth: sexual assault. The courtroom fell silent. Officers described the apartment's filth, the bloodied wipes discarded like refuse, the empty diaper bag. A chilling sign no one intended real care for Savaya. Then came the 911 call. Luis' calm, monotone voice saying, "My baby's not breathing." No sobs, no panic, just flat words that echoed through the room. Text messages followed. Friends receiving messages from Luis about drinking, about the child being a nightmare. One chilling line: "Can't wait till she's gone." The defense tried to argue mental instability, overwhelm, and accident. But the evidence was overwhelming. The pediatric trauma nurse's words cut through any doubt. "I've seen shaken babies, neglect, and abuse. This was torture." When the defense shifted to mental health, presenting evaluations and diagnoses, the prosecution was ready. Mental illness is not a license for evil. Luis had hours to save Savaya, but did nothing. Witnesses painted a haunting picture. Former friends spoke of violent outbursts. Neighbors heard muffled cries, and nurses broke down recalling the horrors they saw. The jury deliberated for 10 days. When they returned, silence filled the courtroom again as the foreperson spoke. "We find Luis Luna guilty of capital murder." The judge sentenced him to life without parole. No death penalty, no appeals. Luis left the courtroom silent, his face a mask, neither remorseful nor broken. The courtroom emptied, but the weight of Savaya's story settled over Houston like a storm that wouldn't pass. Luis Luna was behind bars, but the questions kept coming, louder, sharper, relentless. Why had Janice Mason, Savaya's mother, left her in his care? Why had she not checked in? Why did no one stop this from happening? Janice became a figure caught between sympathy and scorn. Some saw a grieving mother trapped by circumstance and hope, hoping the father of her child could be part of Savaya's life. Others accused her of neglect and blind trust. The apartment was evidence enough: no crib, no diapers, no food, no warmth. An online fundraiser to cover funeral costs raised thousands. But even compassion had its limits. Strangers and mothers alike questioned, why no life insurance? Why no safeguards? Was this grief or guilt? The system, too, came under fire. The Department of Family and Protective Services had no open cases on Luis Luna. No reports flagged him as a danger. No checks, no follow-ups. He wasn't hiding, sharing a cramped apartment with other men, no steady job, no resources. And still, no one stopped it. Savaya's death was not a single moment but a chain of failures. A mother who should have looked closer. A father who chose cruelty. A system that turned away because, on paper, everything seemed normal. Her name is more than a headline. It's a warning that biological ties don't guarantee safety. That parenthood is a responsibility, not just a right. And that sometimes the only voice a child will have is the one we raise for them. Thank you for watching Trace of Evil.